Hello, everybody. Well, Grayson has left the building. Hopefully, she'll be back momentarily. Oh, and she's back as
I
they
was grabbing
return.
dice because it said it was starting, but you hadn't started it, so
Fair
Okay, I'm
enough.
done.
Fair enough.
Fuck this.
And then
Okay.
Zephora is attempting his amazing.
No, it's done. I'm done.
What does it say? Why is it not working? I don't. You
Down the
can't.
street, not across the. Yeah, what?
Did you not create an account?
I tried to. It gave my. It said it doesn't want my email address. So I'm like, I'm done. I'll just hum the Star Trek Captain Kirk combat music in my background.
Or if you want to listen to the, well, no, because it might give you feedback, but yeah.
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right. Well, we're no longer using the
I'll
music.
try to mess around.
Yeah, it's
later.
super easy to do. I mean, I can walk you through it when we have some downtime. But happy Friday, everybody. We are moving away from the music bots, and we'll be using the Sirenscape immersion music method that allows the players to log into my player and then listen into the music that we play for all of you out there in La La Land as you watch us all slowly run out of hit points. Roll with disadvantage, and eventually watch the young eat the old. You know, it's all the fun stuff in life. Just look at Shannon's
What?
face. What? I don't want to eat the old. There's no meat. It's all gristle.
no, they taste like feet.
Oh, people taste like feet. I love it. I love it. That's too funny. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night, Age of Arcanum, a Dark Sun-inspired homebrew campaign. Believe it or not, we are on session 22 tonight. We've seen some people come, some people go. We are down to Grayson Gallowhall, Zephora Moonshade, Dara, who is currently in Vegas. She will be on autopilot tonight. And Merrick, who is down in Brazil, and we are hoping by the end of the year he will have his camera situation resolved so we can see his pretty face. And if you're fortunate enough to listen into the wait music at the beginning, because we do have new screens and all that fun stuff, that was actually our player Merrick, who composed that little piece of music that we used during the wait screen. So it's really cool. He's currently working on other music for me for the other shows and fun stuff like that. So in the future, we will have a link to his creativity. And on that note, when it comes to creativity, Shannon, projects, lots of projects.
Yes, indeed. My cat is losing her mind over some plastic right now. So you can probably hear that occurring. I'm sorry. But also, she's a kitten. So things like this are just going to happen.
Yeah.
Things that I have going on creatively. Wow.
Ooh,
God,
words.
I have a grasp over the English language.
Words.
I promise.
Words.
Creatively. Words. I have a podcast. Obligo del Diablo. It's a Majorly Ascension podcast. 5th edition. In quotations. Because 5th edition doesn't exist, but we made it exist. Gosh darn it. Our most current season is streaming Tuesday evenings on our Twitch at Odd Troop, spelled Troupe. Our first season, Ombligo del Diablo, is releasing basically everywhere you can find podcasts. Episodes of that come out about every 2 weeks. And then in the off weeks, we have our second season run by the wonderful storyteller James, who plays Oliver in season 1, called Section 6. Pause for scramble. Section 6 about technocrats that did bad and are cordoned off to their own little section for people that are essentially failures.
Oh, well, that's
just
I play cruel.
A therapist. Play a therapist for vampires. I mean, Kindred. and it's a good time. It's a good time. Also, last week I was gone because I was at Gen Con. Yeah,
Yes.
shout out to Gooey Cube. Gave me dice. There's
Nice.
like 2,500 of these dice sets ever made. They made them for their Kickstarter, and they gave me a set as a gift. And it was really, really nice and cool and stuff. And I'm probably going to go with them to Genghis Con, which is in February. I'm really
Where's
excited
that one
about it.
at?
Colorado.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fun one. You go
So that
say,
one's drivable, and
yeah.
I'm really excited. Okay, that's my spiel.
that'd be a fun drive too. Ivar, talk to us about your artwork you got going on.
Yeah, let's postpone that. So anyway, I'm on the Scape thing. I got a login account and everything. So just find me or whatever you gotta do. I don't know what I'm doing. I have an account now. It says I'm not a game master, so I can't do anything.
It didn't link you
Just
to the
kill me.
player or anything. Oh, that is just absolutely hysterical. We'll talk about your t-shirts, please, because I noticed all the fun stuff you got going on there. Although you need to get back to drawing to be creating. I missed the drawings.
Wait for some of my artwork I already put up there to start selling before I start doing any more. But anyway, yeah, I got it. Dark One Designs. If you believe in the Dark One. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's Dark One Designs. You can check out my t-shirt.
You are the Dark One.
Maybe
God,
get
don't sound
maybe
so
get
excited
one.
about your own thing.
Maybe get one instead of some Basilica the Cudgel shirt. That's all.
I made this myself, and it was like $60.
Yeah, that's back when
$60.
we.
That's
That's
you gotta
back.
come to my site. Way cheaper.
That's back when
Yeah.
we still had hope.
We
But
still
it
had
does,
hope.
It does say voice of reason on this side. It says alone on this side, and it has alone this face on the back.
So boss.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's like a gang jacket. That's awesome.
A little bit, a little bit.
Warriors.
Anyway, check out my stuff. Buy it if you want to. If you don't, then you're not the nerdiest nerd that I've ever met. So
And of
thanks
course,
for my one t-shirt sale, Jason. I appreciate it.
oh, you're welcome. I will buy more because I could always use good nerdy shirts because I haven't been to a good nerdy convention in quite some time, as they say.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I know it has been a while.
Last time I got drunk and threw up gummy bears over on a wall.
Oh,
No.
oh,
It looked like a rainbow.
It just sounds so gross. So,
It was in
looked
my
like-
younger.
It's like that. Well, that reminds me of like the
Younger
Skittles
times.
commercial.
Aw, I miss my cat biting me.
And we have
You want to be bit? I can offer you some bites.
All right, yeah, I do miss everything, but you know,
and we've got our
used to
player
hate me a lot.
Merrick, played by Gajo. He is coming to us from Brazil, all the way down south.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro, baby. So, before we do our recap, down below is everything you need to know about us, the About Us, the links to our family of creators. That is going to be updated on Monday with some new information. Please feel free to subscribe, it helps. Follow, it helps. Or just stay in chat, everything helps. We are currently bringing you shows every night of the week except for Saturday. We do one-shots every other Thursday. If you join our Discord, you can actually participate in the one-shots. The one coming up next Thursday is going to be a level 20. So that should be lots of fun. A lot of people never really get a chance to run a level 20 character. So it should be pretty cool to watch that one play out live on our Twitch channel. We also give away dice or dice bags, as well as miniatures at the end of every week on Sunday evening before our fun, now official conspiracy pirate campaign, Debtor's Gambit, that comes to you at that one's 6 to 9, right? Yeah, that one's 6 to 9.
Nice.
Yeah, well, all my other ones are 7 to 10, and my Thursday one shot is 6 to 9, and Debtor's Gambit is 6 to 9. So I sometimes forget that part. We also come and hang out, chill sessions on occasion while we build our worlds. Because I'm constantly building and constantly writing, because I run with my 3 pay-to-play tables and my 6 games here. I'm running 9 games. I will be adding 2 more games to run for my pay-to-play tables. So I'm always writing, always creating, doing maps and learning new tricks and trying to figure out how this clever space works in this giant, scary place we call a world. So everything you need to know is down below, so feel free to pop on by our Discord, hang out, go to our YouTube channel, check out some of our Origin episodes from many eons ago. But yeah, that's us in a nutshell. Now, let's get to our recap, bring Grayson up to date on the shenanigans of the previous session. We'll actually go back a couple since Gray missed the previous recap as well. The team had finally arrived at Femur Valley, the location that seems to be a bit of a nexus upon which many different personalities are linking up and, well, completing transactions within the open market, selling off herds of raptors that have been wrangled through the season. The team has made it to Femur Valley with their newly acquired metal sled pulled by raptors, as well as kind of like a fresh constituted team that is now set up kind of like a market area, and they're now attempting to sell off all the captured goods that the team had acquired from the interaction with the dragonborn slavers that are part of Gregor's attempts to try to recapture or try to capture the conduit stone, which is now buried and fused with the physical entity known as Merrick, a long forgotten memory that has kind of taken on corporeal form through Harrow's disillusion of their current tracking down of certain magics, and Harrow has decided to go off and do other things. Once the team made it to Femur Valley, however, Gray, they found an interesting person that was here by the name of Callan. Callan being the thought to be dead wife of Gray. However, Callan is very much alive, but she has no recollection of Gray for the most part, and seems to have fallen or is in a relationship with a Goliath that is, well, familiar to Gray, as the Goliath was the one that they had, tussled with back in the civilian ward of Titanfall. The team...
No obstacle. No obstacle at all.
The team settled in to the tavern of the Tilted Tavern to have some conversations, as it would seem that Callan is leading a particularly robust effort to gather up a rebel army, to take it to the deep west of the Salts, and, liberate Wyndham from the slaver warlord known as Gregor, the one that seems to be sending out constant death squads to retrieve the conduit stone. The team then had to deal with some dragonborn uninvited guests. Once those were dealt with, a massive two-headed creature under the control of another rather powerful dragonborn wizard had made its way into the tavern. This creature was defeated, but unfortunately many of the patrons of the tavern, as well as some of the newly arrived individuals here to help Callan, were also unfortunately fallen as well, including Callan herself, who had fallen unconscious at the end of combat. However, where we last left off, in came a very familiar individual wearing dragonkin armor of the famous Air Drake, of the famous Air Drake mounts, way back when they met her within the earning citizenship into Titanfall. And Pharaoh she has returned or made a rather extravagant entrance. As the sound of people moaning and groaning, injured and wounded, dying and dead, lie about the tavern, a huge two-headed beast laying there as well. Team looks up at Pharaoh. Pharaoh looks down at them. Pharaoh says, "Well, it would appear I was a bit late for the party." And that is where we last left off. What would you like to do?
But first, I know people are dying, but look at this D4. Flat.
Oh, I like that kind.
Yeah,
Is that
flat.
the
sweet.
is that the round one, like the weird kind
Yeah.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round boy.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's the one that you want to
Super
get because you
cool.
don't like the Caltrop D4, right, Ivar?
I hate them. They don't roll. They just go thunk, and it's a 1 every
But-
time.
This D6 has bones in it.
Oh, that's
It's a
pretty
weak-
cool.
It's like a
Yeah,
gelatinous-
I always debone my dice so they roll better.
That's it. It's a gelatinous cube. So
That's
anyway,
super cool.
we're having a dramatic moment, I think.
Eh, give or take. Looking about, Gray, you're still on your feet. Merrick is still up. Dara is still up. Zephora is still up. Bloodied.
I
And
am.
Getting.
I'm going to land.
Go ahead.
I'm going to land.
Oh, that's
I
right. You were
was really
flying last time, so you managed to land back on your feet. Anybody else
I'm
doing
gonna go
anything?
check out that mage and roll its body and take a pinky finger for a necklace.
Go ahead and give me
In
an
its heart.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check there, Zephora.
Okay.
So, if by party you mean nearly a massacre from the looks of it?
Looking about, a lot of the patrons seem to be mixed between dead and unconscious. The Dark Elf and Goliath were knocked unconscious. The Halfling is still on its feet. Callan was knocked unconscious. Currently unconscious under one of the tables where she was standing against the Dragonborn.
Wait, Callan is unconscious?
Mm-hmm.
I moved to her immediately.
Okay.
I got a 27.
Okay. What are you doing, Gray?
Cure wounds.
Go ahead and roll. Zephora, as you begin to investigate this mage, there are some notable strange things about it. Number one, you recover its spell Focus, which seems to be an effigy of a rather large minotaur, heavily constructed in metal gearwork and other kind of like reliefs of, not quite humanoid, not quite fully construct, but it's very odd to look at. But clearly it's spell focus in mind, as it is kind of ensconced around their neck. They are carrying about 28 tokens, Wyndham tokens, and they are currently not wearing any armor or any attire that appears to be of much value. They do seem to have a wand, a kind of like very strange, petrified kind of bone style of wand with a series of glyphs kind of etched into it. Otherwise, everything else on this person is very common, nothing out of the ordinary. However, it's the skin underneath. As you see a lot of striation style tattooing kind of all over their body. It looks like it's like some kind of ranking of some sort, but you're not entirely sure. And the only reason it seems familiar to you is because now that you've got the cipher and some basic information from Callan and the rebels, it would seem that you now have the ability to identify to a certain degree these striation markings, and this seems to be a commander of some sort.
Callan gets 8 back, and then I'll also use Harness Divine Power, which is just a bonus action to get a spell slot of 2nd level back.
Okay. You hear Callan that she, her eyes kind of like open up, and she starts looking around. Where are the other? Oh, it's you. She kind of sits halfway up, and she looks at you and goes, "Did you bring me back?"
Well, yes, of course.
Well, why would you do that? I certainly haven't earned your trust enough for you to expend so much of your magics. Where are the others? Are the others okay? Are you okay? And she inadvertently reaches for their hand and kind of grabs it, not really realizing that she does that. Yeah, you're just like, there's like a conical shaped image of light that kind of like comes down.
I do an okay job hiding it. Okay, well, first of all, you were on the brink of death, so of course I was going to save you. Why would I not? That is insane. Secondly, trust is like it's like a two-way thing. If I show you this, then maybe you can give me some in return. I think that's how it works or something. Anyway, you almost died, and that was bad, and I'm glad you're not dead.
That's yes, that's yeah, that's a lot of information.
I ramble. I'm sorry.
Is Mikhail and Rockham okay? You watch as the armless Mikhail is over by Rockham, and strangely enough, Rockham is now sitting up and being treated by Mikhail as the mage hand skill that he has learned to master, is like treating Rockham's wounds. However, the individual, the dark elf, the neck is surprisingly askew. One eye is slightly bulged out of the skull eye socket. You watch as the halfling begins to come over to stare down at the drow and just kind of, with its kind of like weird distended features and their articulated features, just begins to kind of collect the gear of the drow and put them in their own pack.
I can fix that. Do you want me to fix that? I can fix that.
If you could, that would be great. He's like having a hard time kind of like holding it together.
Okay. Oh God.
How do you fix dead people? I always thought once you were dead, you were dead.
Okay, but if I do this, we definitely need to take a nap. Just
That
FYI.
that is not exactly true.
Well, yeah, also what he said. Okay, go over and start doing the things that I do to cast Vivify.
And as you begin to do that, all of you watch as Pharaoh kind of meanders over to the main scene where all of you are. Callan is getting back on her feet, going over to Rockham, helping Rockham back up to their feet. The halfling kind of shifts nervously a bit and is standing nearby as you begin to try to bring back.
First, like, adjust them so their neck isn't like broken when they come back.
Fair enough.
I am assuming that it's been less than a minute, but I don't know because I wasn't here. So.
Yeah. No, it was. This was all pretty quick and instantaneous. I mean, Pharaoh's arrival, the conclusion of the encounter. So yeah, well, that we're definitely within the minute window because you went over, helped Kellen really quick, heard the halflings' concerns, and then now you're currently working on the drow. Pharaoh comes over to watch you and looks over at Sephora, looking around. You watch as Pharaoh looks towards you at first, and then realizing you're busy, looks to Dara. And then you watch as Pharaoh and Dara kind of stay off to the side. They seem to be having a private conversation while you're bringing the drow back from near death.
I cut the finger off that dragon. I cut the pinky finger off and pocket it, and then I consume the heart.
Give me a sleight of hand. Let's make sure that you do all that without doing.
Okay. I'm hungry. Oh shit, that's good. Sleight of hand. 26.
You not only slice the finger off like perfectly, leaving enough flesh and bone to kind of tie it off, and then as it mummifies, you'll be able to easily string the chain through it. Dragonborns have notoriously rigid sternums, and you manage to. The whole room can just hear the crack as the rib cage is spread open, and you reach in and you easily pull out the dragonborn heart, begin to consume it.
I'm not gonna ask. You know where that knowledge goes? With our feelings. Down.
Push it way down.
Way down. Deep dark hole.
Way down.
Olivia Gareth watches as Moldotsk finally comes back to consciousness. As Gray, you bring him back. His eyes kind of open wide in fear, stare up at you, and just kind of gets into a sitting position, leans against some of the broken furniture, including the large foot of the creature that you guys had helped bring down. And he's just kind of leaning there, breathing heavy. Thank you.
What did you see?
Very much. I saw something that nearly did not allow me to come back, but the energy that you put into the effort, I followed it. I stayed and kept it in my vision, and it brought me back here. I don't know you that well, but thank you, Grayson Gallohall. It is much appreciated.
Like a moth to a flame. I look at Callan, give her a wink.
Mm-hmm. Callan stares at you, looking away from Rockham briefly. In that wink, do you want to deliver any intent? Or is it merely a wink?
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Give me persuasion.
this is gonna go bad. 17.
Yeah, I mean, she looks back at you, and there's a second of awkwardness, but then she just kind of, her features soften, and she just smiles kind of like very affectionately at you, and kind of goes back to bandaging up Rockham's wounded leg and chest, and there was definitely a slight connection there, something that felt a little bit more than a mere thank you stare.
The question that we all have to ask ourselves, how did Gray land this woman in the first place? Good question.
So Merrick, all this activity is going on around you. You hover back down to your feet. Sephora has consumed and mutilated one of the Dragonborn corpses. Gray, they are busy moving about, bringing people back to life and giving them aid as best as they can. Dara and Pharaoh seem to be in a deep conversation. What would you like to do?
Man, I'm kind of torn. All of our enemies are down, right? We haven't left the tavern yet, but it seems like there are no threats anymore. I think I might try to help some people who are hurt, some wealthy people.
Give me a investigation check.
Okay, I am investigating. It's a 14.
14. Now give me a medicine check.
No, that's a 7.
Everybody here seems to be very much working class, almost as if these are people that had come in the middle of the day after a break of setting up the market, um, doing the work that working class people do in a very kind of difficult environment. There's no immediate sign that there's any particular person of wealth here. However, with your ability to at least be somewhat aware of injuries, you do come across two individuals that have clearly expired. They have heavy amounts of wounds to their chest and face. Um, they seem to be um, at the same table when the battle took place, and it would appear that they expired recently, maybe within the last 5 minutes or so. You do find 22 Titanfall tokens on them. You find each one of them carrying a simple dagger. They are carrying food and basic kind of traveling gear and equipment. And you find a rolled up piece of vellum that seems to be tied with leather strapping, and it appears to be a message or maybe a map.
Okay. I safely store everything discreetly, so I won't be called for it or anything.
Give me a sleight of hand really quick.
Yeah. Oof. 26.
26. I mean, most people think you're just there trying to figure out if they're dead or alive. I mean, you easily managed to take just about everything you need or that you found if you choose to take it.
I'm super helping everyone. So,
Okay.
I won't take a look at the parchments right now, so it won't be suspicious. I'll just move on, helping other people. You know, like if everyone is better now, I think it's okay. I should be just waiting to be useful.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah, it'll take some time to complete your tasks that you're currently doing. Gray,
Mm-hmm.
you watch as Pharaoh and Dara eventually make their way over to you. Zafora, what are you doing with your time?
I'm just checking all the dead. Checking all the dead enemies and seeing if they have anything on them. Why everybody's doing what they're
So
doing.
give me another investigation as you begin to try to figure out where these Dragonborn either came from, what they are, if they have anything on their possession.
Where do they come from? Where do they go?
Investigation.
Gray, a very tall, heavily plate-mailed figure, looks down at you, very familiar, long brown hair. As Pharaoh stares at you, Dara is slightly to the side, keeping a kind of suspicious look on Pharaoh. Pharaoh looks at you. So, do you happen to know what has happened to Somni? I've been trying to contact him for some time.
Oh, Somni. Wait a second. Oh, here we go.
She reaches out, takes the bag. Oh. That's...
Show her my bag of Somni dust.
Yes. She hands it back to you. I see.
It's in multiple pieces.
Yes.
See, I can put them back together and they're like mostly whole, but I haven't quite figured out dust.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, putting people back together from dust particles, I would imagine, could be difficult. Well, it would seem that he has moved on.
Know which part of the dust is which part of the person, you know, because you don't want to put like their foot on top of their head. It'd be like inconvenient.
Well, depends on your point of view, but okay.
My point of view is not my foot beneath my head. Is
She just kind of giggles at you. Goes, "It's been a while, Gray. It's good to see you."
has been quite some time.
So, I believe we should get going. Callan? And you watch as she kind of yells over at Callan.
To where?
Well, I've been tracking this particularly nasty group of Dragonborn for the better part of a week now. They are part of a rather larger force that's heading this way. I thought perhaps Callan would aid us and get us the fuck out of here. I have already sent my Drake to return back to where we reside, as they say. I plan on traveling with you for a bit. She looks over at Callan. Callan kind of limps over to where all of you are standing together. Although Zephora is going from Dragonborn to Dragonborn, kind of checking things out. Merrick is lingering in the background, and Dara just has this very suspicious look on her face the whole time as Pharaoh is, speaking.
They're between Pharaoh and Callan. Really hard to see if there's something going on there as well.
Give me an insight check.
Okay.
Zephora, what'd you get for investigation?
15. Not the great.
15?
But...
Moving through all the bodies and forms of the Dragonborn, I mean, there's most of their equipment is very pretty kind of typical for this environment. It's all finely made, but long swords, axes, hammers, daggers. You do manage to find 48 Wyndham tokens. You begin to realize that they were traveling light. And based on the striations on their body, you get the feeling that they were definitely foot soldiers or ground troops of a very simple sort. Probably the one in charge of this party was the wizard who brought in the two-headed creature as a last-ditch attempt to try to win this fight. But that's pretty much all you managed to find. Gray, what'd you get?
I'm either sure they're together or sure they're not.
One?
Yep.
The whole exchange between Callan and Pharaoh is so unreadable, you're not sure either way. They seem to know each other. They seem to be familiar with each other. But you don't get the feeling that Pharaoh has explicitly left Callan out of the narrative. It's almost as if Pharaoh knows Callan uniquely and would not have known about any relationship that the two of you had previously. But it all seems very difficult to read. Very difficult to read.
I cast Detect Pheromones.
There are huge clouds of pink rainbow pheromones, puffing all over the room at this point.
I'm distracted by my own. I can't get out of the cloud.
Exactly. So we'll say the next 15 minutes goes by as everybody kind of collects. The keeper and the individuals that work for the keeper are now cleaning out the bodies, trying their best. At some point, a rather large dwarf-looking individual comes over with a very large meat cleaver and begins to hack up the large body of the two-headed ogre-like creature. And seems to be the only way they're going to be able to get it out is in pieces. It's quite large.
Just a normal day at the office?
Yeah, pretty normal.
Same, right?
And I believe it's evening, and we'll say some time has passed since then. So it's getting on to late evening at this point. You have your...
Can I take a look at the parchment in this meantime?
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
It's something important I should...
As you roll open the vellum, you kind of undo the leather strapping, roll open the vellum sheet. Staring at it, it seems to be written in a rather unique, unfamiliar language to you. It seems to fill up the entire section of the vellum. Unfortunately, you're not familiar with the language.
Okay. Hey, Zephora, when you're done, can you take a look at this? Come on. Here. I show her.
Yeah, Merrick hands you the document that he found on one of the creatures. What languages do you speak, Zephora?
Let's look. Draconic, Druidic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Halfling, Orc, and Thieves' Cant.
You recognize it as a style of druidic writing. You could tell the shamanistic tones of it, but the language itself is unfamiliar to you.
Is interesting, right?
Where did you get this?
I found it.
Where?
In the tavern.
Are we going to play this game? Okay. Where in the tavern?
Oh, come on. Are you going to judge me?
I'm not judging you. I just ate a heart.
It was inside the pocket of one of the victims of the assault.
Oh, which one? Just show me.
I think we just. I was imagining we are leaving the tavern, but if we're not, I just pointed.
Yeah, I mean, you're still inside the tavern. Merrick points over to the two bodies nearby the table that he had found the vellum scroll on.
I'm gonna check them.
I go like that.
Okay. You notice that they are, they're both humanoid, or human. They appear to be Araphanian, for sure. They're dressed very simplicitly and seem to have died from spectator wounds of the combat that occurred. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Investigation. 16.
16. You don't find anything new on them, but once again, kind of double checking their physical form and everything. You do find matching tattoos with an insignia on the inside of each arm.
What's it look like?
It looks like
it
looks like a human thumb inverted, and at the base of the thumb is a pool of blood.
Mm.
You overhear Rackham. All right, Dotsk, get them on their feet. We got to get out of here. We got to make it to our camp and get going. Pharaoh says more are coming, and we don't want to fucking be here. Yes, give me a minute. And you watch as Dotsk and the halfling and Malik and Rackham begin to gather up their gear and quickly try to get organized with the intent of leaving. Gray, Pharaoh, and Callan finish their conversation. Pharaoh comes back over to you. Well, seems like we're all going to be traveling together. Dara is quite insistent on helping Callan find their way west to the salt wastes and dealing with Wyndham. I don't know if I'm going to travel that far, but I'll certainly travel with you for the next couple days or so before the season of cold or the season of hot begins. Then me and my Drake will retire to more comfortable residence. But tell me, Gray, what brings them and you and everybody to the Fema Valley? Last time we spoke, I believe you were on Espis?
We got some things that we gotta take care of, and Progenitus got blown up, and
Are you telling me that they blew up a dinosaur? Is that possible?
that is precisely what I am telling you. Yes.
And where's Harrow? Where is that creepy, dark...
He's a bird now.
So what?
Yeah.
He's a bird.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think. What in the fuck have you and your friends
Look,
been up to?
Your guess is as good as mine. A lot has happened.
He's a
over
father
the
now,
past-
also.
Also, yeah. What?
A what?
Maybe.
A
I
father?
don't know. You see, there's this whole Twitch archive. You should go back and watch it because it's really hard to explain.
I don't know what Twitch means except for when my foot moves on its own accord. But yes, I would gather the best thing to do now would be to get out of here. Do you have any equipment or anything you'd like us to gather up?
Someone in the market's making me something I have to wait for.
I have no idea about that because I was looking for my wife.
You were what?
What?
What'd you just say?
What? That was me, not me.
Ah. I couldn't help but notice the way that you were staring at Callan. Do you know who Callan is?
She's pretty cool.
Yes, she is quite the person to have on your side.
I'm not quite
Soot,
there yet, but I will convince her.
Warlord Soot has asked me to find her and asked me to see if her preparations go well. Evidently, he has deliveries for her that are on the way. So, yeah, supposedly she is already forming up an army to take west or east or wherever the fuck Wyndham is these days. I try not to pay too much attention to that place. It's terrifying to say the least.
Why?
It's where the surgeon is. Most people will tell you quite terrifying things about the master surgeon. You watch as she looks over at the halfling's kind of grotesque amalgamated face that's been altered.
It's really given us good doctors a bad name. Should be punished for it.
I don't know if he's a doctor as much as one who experiments on the living in hopes of making interesting things. I mean, you do recall the servants you saw back in Titanfall. Where they come from. That's where they get augmented and then make their way to Titanfall to be sold as slaves.
So obviously we have to catch this man and experiment on him, right? That's the plan?
See, killing him would suffice, but if you feel experimentation is your game, feel free.
I just kind of like look at Dara.
Dara doesn't even budge. She just looks right at you and gives you that kind of like killer grin that she does, and it just reminds you of some challenges you have in front of you right now. So,
well, probably one step at a time.
So is there anything else anybody wants to do in the tavern? It appears that Callan and her cohorts are gathering up their equipment to make their way out. Sephora, you have made the discovery on the two corpses. Dara seems eager to leave as she stands by the door, watching Callan, Pharaoh, and all the others begin to filter out.
No, I feel like we should go, personally.
All of you make your way out into the nighttime air of the market. Looking around, it's almost as if no one really noticed. Most people have vacated the streets seeking shelter, seeking a place to stay in, but there are those that are kind of meandering around, and there are some late market stalls that are open. You watch as Callan comes up to you really quick, Gray. Did you need to collect anything before we leave?
Remind me, did I... Oh yeah, I was getting spider armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if it's done yet, but... Yes.
I can leave a couple of my messengers here to deliver your stuff when it's complete.
Yeah, okay. Philip can wait, I guess.
I believe you
I got
had...
stuff too, so.
I believe you had a sled and other things here.
Yes, indeed we did.
Did you want them to come along, or are they staying? What is your plan for them?
I don't believe we are planning on taking them along.
Very well.
Sephora, correct me if I'm wrong.
What are we gonna do? Walk?
Well,
I meant the people, not the sled.
Oh, the people. No, they can join the army. Do
I
what
mean,
they
we're
will.
always looking for more to join our ranks. If they're willing to, I'd gladly take them.
They're pretty
I'd say that
pathetic.
Yeah, that should be up to them, though. We should just talk to them and see what they want to do, because I will not make anybody march to their death unwillingly.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like a forced enlistment.
Some of them just want to wait
a
for their
very,
deaths. They don't want to march anywhere.
Forced enlistment is a very expensive way to lose a war.
Well, my troops fight for free. They fight for food and water and the hopes of saving their loved ones in Wyndham and from the slaver pits. Hopefully,
That's
Soot.
much better motivation.
Yes, and hopefully Soot will have equipment for us to be able to fit our army and make them. I think the challenge I have right now is training and getting them ready for the eventual assault into Wyndham. Gregor's forces are quite, how shall we say, robust.
I think what I want to do is take one of the raptors as a mount
Okay.
and not take the sled unless you guys want to take the sled. I don't know. I'm just going to take a mount. Be faster and cheaper in the long run, I think.
Dara's already bridled up one of the raptors as well.
All right, I'll get one ready and
You watch as Callan kind of drifts off to go talk to the individuals that make up your market-style encampment. The night's beginning to get a little bit later. The others stand around in frustration waiting for Callan to do her speech. Pharaoh stands there staring at everybody, watching all this play out. Anybody else want to do anything?
Maybe go get my stuff also. I don't know. That
I'll have to
they're
bring my
ready.
stuff. They're making stuff for me.
I mean, I think it was going to take a
Yeah.
couple days to finish your stuff, Merrick.
Really? Okay, we're losing before that then.
Well, you had
Okay.
already acquired the skin studded vest, correct? From the
Yeah, I'm not wearing anything
right.
as armor. I left her to change it. So yeah.
Oh,
okay.
you took it to the gal that was going to make it so you could wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think she said it'd be at least a day. Like she had said that for you to come back the following day.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. So that's it. I'm not going to do anything.
Okay. And
Just
Callan
get
has
rations and
already
stuff.
offered to leave behind messengers to pick up anything that you guys need done, and then these messengers will will catch up to the main group as you begin to head into the deep wastes once again.
Interesting.
Yeah, just
Okay.
get. If they had, if they had any good desert clothes or something like that, I would just get that so I could have, some robes and stuff to wear in the desert.
They have a variety of that. Some of that's even available to you in your sled at this point.
Oh, okay. I'll just take that and then stock up on rations for us and pack them on to the Velociraptor.
So with all this activity going on, the raptors being bridled up, eventually these kind of like pseudo leader of the survivors that you guys had rescued comes over to you, Gray. I'm sorry, but we're going to join Callan if that's okay with you. I feel like I should have this conversation. You helped free us, and I feel like to give back to this, we should do it as well.
Well, we're all moving together then. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that you had a say in the matter.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And you watch as
I'm actually surprised.
you watch as he
Didn't
turns
thought we
around
had
to
it.
start kind of helping pack up the sleigh, bringing the cover that was built kind of neatly packed up. Takes a little while longer. Eventually, a half hour goes by. Everybody kind of like puts everything together, and all of you are led to the outskirts of the market area proper. And there you can see, tethered on a long string, 5 additional raptors that the others take possession of. One of the raptors is very different. It's very much a jet black obsidian kind of scaling, very unfamiliar to all of you. It seems to be the one that Pharaoh will be riding as she gets on the back of the larger raptor. And all of you begin to gather up and make your way into the dark as you are now heading a bit more north and a bit more, well, the plan, as Callan explains, as all of you in a single column drift out into the night, is to head for the Central Highlands. Once at the brackish wastes of the Central Highlands, to immediately head east towards the Salt Wastes. Once in the Salt Wastes, the plan is to head northeast and go to a mountain range called the Rotted Jaw. Here at the Rotted Jaw is where they're supposed to meet up with Soot and possibly even more individuals that are going to be interested. But she also mentions that once at the Central Highlands, the remainder of her force, of Callan's forces, are located there as well, encamped in the Highland Flats nearby. She seems to have a location ability that you recognize, Gray, to a certain degree, and she's very much aware of this location. It's getting late at night. All of you form kind of a meandering column, drifting into the dark. At some point, Gray, they watch as Callan drifts over alongside. Your 2 raptors kind of riding side by side, less than maybe a foot apart from each other. They look up to see the look of concern on Callan's face. Are you all right? You seem distracted.
There's just a lot going on.
Well, I can imagine that things are moving faster than one could possibly understand. Why is it every time I look at you, I feel like I should know your face? I don't understand it. You watch as Callan does that familiar playing with the ponytail and kind of coiling it up and tugging on it, and you watch as the white hair just kind of drops behind purple skin, and she looks at you.
Because you should
Because I should what?
know my face. You did at one point.
Should know your face. Are you saying that that we've met previously?
You could say that.
Well, I am saying that. Is it more than just meeting? Because your eyes tell me something entirely different.
Yeah, we knew each other pretty well at one point.
Did we know each other back at the Ironwood?
Mm-hmm.
Or the Stonewood? I have this memory that I've been struggling with for a long time, almost as if a door has been locked, keeping me out of it, and I've never been able to retrieve it. But seeing your face, I don't know what it is, but it scares me a little bit.
My face scares you?
It's the not knowing that scares me. I find myself, you watch as she reaches up to scratch the scar of her left whited out eye. I find myself usually on the receiving end of mistrust. If it wasn't for Rockham and the others giving me focus, and for the last, I don't know, year or so, we've been raiding the slaver caravans, gathering up our forces as best we can. It's been a strange driving sensation for me. I don't really have much of a memory beforehand. I remember Rockham finding me. I remember meeting up with Mikhail and Pharaoh, the discussion about what it would take to go to the wastes, deal with Gregor, make our way back up north to possibly throw over Titanfall, which is a pipe dream to say the least. No one probably ever really accomplished that, but like Pharaoh says, there's always a starting point, and Rockham always says there's always a finishing point. My memory is gone. I try to think about where I came from, but it's just a memory of Rockham finding me out in the Central Highlands some time ago, and I've just been with him ever since, with the exception of when he had to go to the Oste family compound. He said it would probably not be safe for me to go into Titanfall. I don't know why he felt that way, but he did.
Did you find out where he was coming from when he found you?
Yes, that he was coming from the north, coming down into the Central Highlands. Believe he was coming from the Arch Valley of the north. The Ashen Valley, sorry. He's coming down from the Ashen Valley where his tribe resides, and he's currently in contest to become a tribal leader of his people. And he came to ask the Avoste family for sponsorship, although I still don't know the reason why he decided to do that. And he found me near the Bracken Wastes on the very edge of the Central Highlands. He said he found me near death, barely conscious, barely alive, and nursed me back to health. And unfortunately, that is where my memory began. My memory of conversation with him is over the course of the last year.
Well, I have a good idea of how you lost your memories, but I'm not yet strong enough to fix that part. Oh, wait. We're like a foot apart?
Yeah, you're not too far from each other.
I was going to lean over without thinking about it and try to lesser restoration her eye like I told her I would.
Okay. You watch.
It's like, oh, by the way, I forgot
yeah,
this.
yeah. And as you do that, do you want to touch her at all to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of place your hand on her chin, and you cast a spell. You watch as the arcane influence and radiant influence courses up her jaw. They watch as the eye unstitches. They watch as the scar goes away. They watch as the eyelid reforms, the pupil and the familiar eyes of Callan normalize. Purple, blackish skin normalizing around the damaged eye socket. They watch as Callan blinks furiously at first. Newly formed eye begins to rotate and drift. Wow. I didn't think this was ever going to be possible. Thank you. She leans in and kisses your cheek. And pulls back quickly. And then her raptor kind of trundles away. And Sephora, American Dar are near enough to have seen this whole thing transpire.
Yeah, I try not to think about the last time that I looked at her in both of her eyes.
At some point late in the night, an outcropping of rocks some squalid looking condition of what might have been cactus and other kind of flora of the wastes. You're a good 2-3 hours outside of the Femur Valley and in the low-lying hills towards the Central Highlands. Camp is made. Takes about an hour for it to be set up. The busyness is kind of reassuring. The newcomers, the new friends, the new associates, everybody just seems to automatically know what to do. It's almost as if they've settled into this routine of travel camp, this nomadic kind of existence. The impromptu leader of the survivors and the freed slavers once again promises all of you a good night's rest as he begins to set up a rotation of watch. You notice that the camp, however, is set on the granite stones of the area. At some point, Pharaoh mentions something about the dune worms in this area that tend to be nasty. Staying on the granite kind of makes sure that they don't arrive and cannot hear the tremor or feel the sense that potential prey is out here. A campfire of dung heap is lit. The raptors are tethered and managed. Tents made of bone and sinew put up. The platform sled transformed into a sleeping quarters for those that want to use it. Anybody want to do anything before you settle in for your long rest?
Does that recoil back into the stone effect? Can I use it again? It is very practical.
Sure.
Yeah, so Zephora, I'm gonna rest. Okay, I see you soon, and then I just
You watch
go
as
into the stone. And
you watch as Merrick blinks from their corporeal form to a more translucent form. And when they change into their white form, you watch as a small, dense orb kind of like absorbs the energy. There's a slight kind of like tear in the immediate area that the energy sits, and then it just winks out.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
I'm portable. It's a
Portable.
portable rogue. Just add water.
So I just leave it there, or
You watch she pulls out a cup of water,
put it in
drops
my
Merrick in it like one of those
pouch, or
foam dinosaurs.
just add water.
Just add water.
I'm gonna study that scroll and see if I can make heads or tails of it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check. No, give me an intelligence check. Sorry. Gray, is there anything that they would like to do before settling in?
I'll probably look at my spells and stuff and avoid Gara.
Got a nat 20.
Nat 20 with your what's your int bonus?
Well, no, it'd be
Nice.
a 22 with
Okay.
my intelligence bonus.
After watching Merrick kind of turn into their translucent form and disappear for the evening, you sit down near the fire, and there's people busy about setting up the camp. That vellum opens up in front of you, and there's something about it. You hold it there momentarily, and you inadvertently get some sand on the vellum, and you watch as the sand kind of races across the bottom portion, and as it does, you watch as the glyphs flare and begin to normalize. And you then grab some more sand, toss it across it. You realize that it is definitely a secret message. It's activated by the sand and the nighttime conditions. To you, that tells you that whoever crafted this particular item had skill, a great deal of skill. And it says in the message, We are aware that they are located in the Fema Valley. Please track them, but with caution. Do not engage unless prompted to. Seek out the one called Callan. Ask her in regards to their plans with Wyndham, and at best, hopefully, establish an opportunity of meeting and communication. And at the bottom, there's just an image sketched in the message with a thumb and a pool of blood that's kind of just formed at the bottom of the thumb. Some kind of insignia. It matches the tattoos that you had found on the two bodies.
Okay. All right, it's late, so I'm going to go to sleep.
Okay. Take your long rest. Merrick is taking their sort of long rest, although they don't really have to. Grayson?
Yeah, doing the same thing. We'll probably keeping watch for a little while.
Fair
before
enough.
Heading in.
Dara has already kind of like rolled over in her bedroll and is snoring blissfully. Most of the camp has drifted off to sleep while you remain up. Gray, go ahead and give me a intelligence check, please.
Oh, that's actually a 21.
Wow. For a moment
It's a
there,
19 plus
yeah.
2.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm kind of caught off guard.
Gray, you have an intelligent thought. My God.
That was awesome. Go ahead and now give me an insight check with advantage.
Even with advantage, it's only a 14.
Yeah. Staring around this impromptu encampment that's been built, there's something about all this that feels strange but somewhat familiar. You watch as Zephora has already drifted off to sleep. You watch the breathing form of Dara underneath covers and blankets of skin, raptor skins. The season of light is fading. It's only a day or so away from the season of heat. And already the nights are beginning to get warmer. But it's just at that moment you catch Callan staring at you hard. Staring at you with intensity. And she is now walking towards you. Her camp behind her, sound asleep. Occasionally you watch as the survivors meander around the encampment, kind of keeping an eye on things, stoking the fire, checking on Zephora and the others, checking the perimeter of the encampment, petting the little bean.
Mhm.
I tried to determine if she has intent to kill me or talk to me.
Give me an insight check. Well, you already gave me an insight check. Hard to tell, but she is walking in your direction. She's very difficult to read. Her features are softened. As she stands nearby, are you sitting or standing?
Sitting, probably have my little, not spellbook because I'm not a wizard, but I probably have like some kind of something that I
Right.
use to like change out my spells. Probably, little. Maybe they're different little flowers and crystals and things like that. Flowers that would have to be druid crafted.
Right.
And just like something that this is a thing that would be like less restoration, and this would be and just kind of like mapping stuff out and just be like.
She stands above you and looks down at you.
Give her space if
Yeah.
she wants to sit down.
She just stays standing and she goes, "When you healed my eye, I had a glimpse. Me and you were standing in front of other drows and elves. And we were having an argument with some unfamiliar faces. An old elven man stood up and began to berate a crowd of elves speaking to us. And then the memory faded. I don't know if it was because of the magics that you used, but I'm confused. If I have that memory, I should know you, and I don't know you, Gray.
Gray internally restrains a quip about getting a glimpse after having her eye healed. Just keeps it in here. Well, you did, is the thing. You definitely knew me at one point. I definitely knew you at one point. And I only relatively recently was reminded of how I knew you. Due to some magics more powerful than I am able to produce, but I could try to target that door that you mentioned specifically to try to give you another glimpse, or I can explain what I know. But if I explain what I know, you're probably not going to believe me.
I'm not sure I believe you now.
That's fair. That's fair. Up to you.
Just give me a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, this is where this dice is gonna fail me. So 17.
You're rolling good tonight. That Will Wheaton curse has been shed.
More dice, baby.
Yep.
You guys. The curse is broken.
She just looks at you and she goes, "Kiss me."
What?
Well, if we knew each other, then kiss me. I can imagine that would be something I would forget.
I don't hesitate.
The two of you lock lips and exchange a very passionate kiss. It takes almost like a minute before she kind of just a huge intake of breath and we were married. Your family hated me.
Colin, my kisses are magical. How did I just not discover this?
I do know you. But
Yes.
you watch as she just gets very confused and just kind of turns, walks away and stops, looks back at you, confusion just all over her face, and she just walks back into her own encampment.
Burned.
Oh god. Okay. Well, Philip, we learned today that my kisses are magical, but they don't necessarily convince people that they should stay in your camp.
Philip looks up at you with
Maybe it's
concern,
interesting.
look in his 12 eyes, the half-eaten lizard in its mandibles, bits of drool and venom kind of coursing out as it looks at you.
What if they can only heal memories and they don't cause like butterflies? I wouldn't know. I can't figure that out for myself, Philip. I know. I can bring people back from the dead. I can make skeleton friends. I can make flowers. But I can't figure that out for
He watches, he hawks up a chunk of bone out of his mandibles.
Yeah. Did you want a friend? Are you asking for a friend or are you just giving me a gift? I'm confused.
I mean, if you could actually talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Give me, just for giggles, give me a nature check.
Oh my god. 20. Dirty 20.
You'd overheard some conversation about these particular spiders that as they grow in age, which Philip's getting bigger, he rides on you more than hides in your clothing anymore. This particular brand of spider, like, it can't digest calcium and it can't digest bone. So it liquefies all the other organic matter, and then it's forced to kind of spit up the remaining bone.
Oh my god, Philip. Of all of the bones that you vomit out, what if I can make those creatures again? And then you just, you can eat them again. It's an infinite supply of food.
The mandibles just clack, and Philip goes running off in the dark to hunt more lizards.
No? Okay. Well, alright. Well, be careful. I love you.
Say I love you to a spider. What the actual fuck?
Love it.
Yeah, but not my wife. 'Cause that's who I am as a person.
Right. No, it makes sense for Gray. All of you go ahead and click off your long rest.
Woo!
You wake up to the last day of the season of light.
I thought you were going to say the last time, and I was like, Jason.
You wake up
for the last time.
Last time. For the 22nd time.
8 spell slots, good lord.
I know, it's almost like you have abilities now.
My god.
I could do shit now because I've got lots of slots. The more slots, the more shit that you can actually do. I've seen this.
That's right,
It works. You're like, that's right, Rumble. So one by one, you guys wake up to the morning sounds of camp being broken down, impromptu meals being kind of accepted to a certain degree. The food's not that great on the road, but it's palatable. A very sleepy Philip is curled up onto your backside already, Gray, with at least 4 or 5 piles of bones nearby. He looks a little bit larger.
Uh-oh.
I wonder if I can...
Definitely gonna need some new legs.
Bones. Dara probably could, but I'm not going to ask her to do anything.
I'm gonna go talk to Callan.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, look, did we actually ever get introduced? Zephyr, I believe, yes?
Yes. Correct.
What can I do for you? He seems very standoffish, very kind of like distracted.
Do you know a group that's symbol is a severed thumb?
A severed thumb? Can you describe it
Yes.
for me? I mean, there are many groups and organizations that go with...
Yeah, I describe it to her.
Oh, interesting. Do you know much about the Bloody Thumb?
No.
Well,
I know they were.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh. I don't know much, but I know they were seeking you out.
Well, why would they be seeking me? That doesn't make any sense. I have no dealings with assassin guilds.
I don't know.
Were they trying
Wanted
to kill
find
me?
out No. There was 2 operatives in the tavern. I came into possession of one of the scrolls they were carrying and deciphered it. It's druidic in nature and
Interesting.
talked about that you gave directions where you were located and to make contact and or possibly find out your intentions when it came to... I basically explained what the scroll
Yeah.
says.
That's a bit disconcerting. I thought that my travels were, well, kept close to the breast, as they say. I don't know why they'd be looking for me. I have no contracts. And you say there was no information regarding the attempts to kill me.
No, I said not to make any contact or anything like that, so...
Can I see the message, please? Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
You hand it to her. She hands it back. I can't read this. It's just a bunch of scribble. And you look and you realize there's no sand or nighttime
Oh, yeah.
light on
We'll
it.
have to look at it at night with
Oh.
some sand on it.
Oh. Interesting. secret courier, to say the least. You
Yes.
notice the whole time she's talking to you, she's watching. She glances over in Gray's direction as from time to time Gray is packing up and getting ready to travel. How long have you been with
That's
Gray?
my. Oh, I don't know. Was it about a month now? Or weeks?
It's probably been about a month since
Oh.
you met them at Espis. You guys were in the wastes for a while.
About a month, I would say.
Interesting. She interests me a great deal. Is she safe? She's someone that you trust.
Yes, I do.
Can I ask you something else? Why does she
Yes.
carry that horrid creature on her back? On their back?
That's Philip. He's not a horrid creature.
Oh, I can assure you he is both horrid and dangerous.
Well, not to Gray and not to us. He's a companion.
Speaking of
She's-
companions, where's your other strange friend? The one that doesn't seem to ever stick around at night, disappears, and then seems to show up. And then you watch
He'll
it.
be back.
Crack of light, and Merrick's physical form comes
Who,
back
me?
into existence.
Who, me?
Jesus Christ. Or Symphoneus? Holy in Symphoneus. As she kind of like catches her breath and sees Merrick standing nearby. What the fuck are you exactly? What are you?
Oh. Have you ever heard of Talena?
Yes, she is quite horrific and terrifying. I'm very much aware of Talona.
Yeah, I used to work for her. Now I don't.
You were a
Long
follower
time ago.
of Talona. How
Yes.
long ago?
Between 500 and 1,000, but I'm not sure.
You're very interesting as well. 500 or more years ago. That's impossible. No one can
Yeah,
live
and I'm
that.
pretty horrid and pretty dangerous also.
Interesting.
He was around when it was the Green Times.
The Green Times. What does that mean?
Yes.
What
Yes.
does that mean exactly? When you say the Green Times, I don't understand that reference.
Well, I'm not very familiar with this vocabulary also, but the land was not always like this, dry and broken. There was a time when water used to flow through the earth, and well, it's called green because there were many green creatures that we call trees, vegetation, huge vegetation with green leaves all over. Well, really hard to describe.
I would definitely recommend caution to who you say these blasphemies to, but out here you're quite safe. But I would never tell that story if you ever make your way to Titanfall. That will get you a very long neck on a very short piece of rope.
Well, let me tell you something. I am very old, but you can consider me a newborn into this world. I know nothing. What is Titanfall?
Titanfall is where the Highborn reside, where the 5 wards make up the largest city in Arafan, and, well, where Brayburn and his other families rule over most of the population of this world. To the east is Wyndham, the great salt waste where the slavers reside. To the far north is the Cowled Mountains, where Soot and the others make their kingdoms and empire and wage their war with Titan's Fall. A great war that has been raging for over 200 years between the two. Out in the western
200
coast of Aerothan is the Maya Sea, where warlords and others cling on to a bare minimum of existence. And then, of course, the Central Highlands, where the Titan's Fall sits in the very middle of the very high mesa plateaus. And here we are in the deep, deep southern wastes of, well, just slightly outside of the area of Stonewood, where I think I might be from. I'm not entirely sure. She kind of loses her focus for a moment, but this idea of water and vegetation, I can assure you, is a pipe dream. Water can only be magically or harnessed from physical creatures. It does not exist on this planet anymore. You hear like a crackle of lightning out in the distance. Those are the only waters that we ever see, the bracken, acidic storms that pelt us with all manner of doom and death that we have to run from. The only time I believe...
I'm happy I'm already dead, in fact.
What does that
It
mean
is
exactly when you
very-
say that you're already dead? You're standing here in front of me physically. I can touch you. You
Yes.
watch as Callan reaches out and kind of just puts a gentle hand on your bicep. You're physical.
Well-
You're real, are you not?
It happened before, in the before time. You see, Talena, however you want to pronounce it, she granted me power in exchange for my services. But this is not the kind of power I was looking for. In fact, I'm sorry, I understand that you have a memory problem. We share this problem, in fact. I only remember serving Talona. That's all I know about my life. So,
And are you aware of
I
who
don't know.
Talona is? I mean,
She's a god.
she is a goddess
Right.
for sure. There is the common understanding of what she is, and then there's the truth. Those of us that follow the twins understand precisely what she is.
Well, I have one memory, very strong memory, that woke me from the torpor she had put me into. She turned me into this dead spectrum specialized in assassination and not much else. And in exchange, I wanted to keep a loved one alive. And I remember her suffering during the time she was alive. And I remember she just wanted to go. And that's when I realized I had to let her go. And that kept me, the part of me that is me. But what made me a ghost, a wraith, is a power that belongs to the god. It is a dark power, and I don't recommend it to anyone.
Well, it would seem that you're in direct contrast with that power. So, for your physical form now, are you saying that you can turn into this otherworldly form at will then?
Well, I show her, yes, I can do this, and I just go through them a little bit.
Yeah,
Like that.
you kind of instantly feel the conduit stone energy kind of pulse, and you kind of turn into a translucent energy, and you kind of drift through Callan, and then on the other side you kind of reform yourself in physical form. Well, that is
Yeah.
a very handy trick, to say the least.
Yes, I'm rusty. It's been a long time since I don't practice it, but I used to be an unstoppable killer. If you need anyone dead, just point me where he is.
Well, there will be plenty of people to kill, I assure you of that. But thank you for the offer, I think. And Zephora, thank you for the conversation. Perhaps this evening we can review the message that you found, if that is okay with you.
Of course, I'll bring it to you.
Very well. You watch as Callan turns to finish packing up. Anybody else want to do anything with the morning before packing up and getting back on the trail to head to the Central Highlands?
Merrick, I
would
didn't
love
know
to.
you were an assassin.
Ooh.
I'm curious. Those guys from the Titanfall, those are the ones who enforce the prohibition on the subject of the green times, right?
Oh, I don't know. I was just kept in a
What
house in
is-
Titanfall. I don't
Yeah,
really
and
know
Zephora,
anything
even
about it.
talking, your like previous kind of like being handled as a slave for that one particular household, even talking about things of such bizarre existence, you've seen other people get just flayed alive, bones pulled from their bodies, guts strewn out on the ground for suggesting such religious and blasphemous concepts. Most people believe that Talona is a good goddess. Talona kept the world from dying, and the world's condition is because she saved it. What Merrick is speaking
Okay.
just sounds like blasphemy to you. It makes you a little unnerved.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand how people see Talona and stuff like that, and who is enforcing this, because this is like clearly the direction we have to go to point our weapons, you know.
Hmm. Well, yes, don't mention that ever again. If you
I'll
value
keep my mouth.
whatever you are, I would say your skin, but you don't really have any.
I'll
and-
keep my cards closer to my chest. Thank you, Zephora.
And
It is what a wise
and-
advice.
and you don't even smell like a meat creature.
There's a little bit of like
It is hard.
heart meat in the corner of Sephora's mouth. You watch as her tongue like sucks it into their mouth.
May I say you are doing wonderful progress, Zephora. This is something between disgust and fear. It's not fear, it's like repulsion. You see, those are emotions and really strong ones.
Oh, no, not that. You don't smell like you taste good.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Do you want to try?
No, I smell like dust. Turn around and walk away.
The name is ectoplasm, and yeah, it's
You're talking to the backside of Zephora. She just turns and walks after saying that. Gray, is there anything they wanted to
totally
do
talking
with the morning?
backside.
Just see that from a distance
Yeah.
and see Merrick or see Zephora walk away. Yeah. I want to talk to Pharaoh.
Easy enough to find. She's currently bridling up her mount and packing all of her gear onto the back of it. She kind of turns to lift up another heavy reptilian sack to put on the back of it. She sees you and goes, "Oh, hello. How did you sleep?"
Peacefully.
Hmm.
I didn't have any haunting nightmares. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm.
Anyway, about this other thing that has nothing to do with me. What happened after we left? I hadn't gotten the opportunity to ask.
Well, the young Avaste went quite mad. Her mother insisted that the door be torn down and excavated as quickly as possible, but no matter what was done or accomplished, they could not get that door open, and Every attempt to excavate around it caused cave-in after cave-in. Many dozens died in the process. Eventually, the access was, well, terminated. The entire entrance and everything about it collapsed in, and they have decided to use other means to find what they need. At some point during your absence, it was discussed that possibly you had found something that specifically prevented your return. I had already contacted Master Soot in regard to that, and he agreed, and therefore I was sent out during the season of light and cold in an attempt to find you and your friends. It wasn't until, I want to say, about a month and a half or so ago, maybe a month, a little over a month, that I felt Somni's presence and found and traced it to Espis, where I was forced to leave after the Wraith arrived, the Avoste uncle, their flagship. And then after that, I made my way back to Titanfall. I reported back into Soot, and then I made my way back out to the Fema Valley to, well, meet up with Callan and guide her and her troops towards the delivery site of where Soot is sending both materiel and men for their attempted incursion into the salt waste, which personally I think is folly, but she is very driven to do this. She is quite passionate. She raises a single eyebrow at you when she says the word passionate.
Yep.
Would you care to explain why the two of you embraced last night? Clearly there's
What?
more to the two of you than I was led to believe.
Care to explain why you were creeping?
Oh, I wasn't creeping, dear. I was rolling over after a scorpion bit my neck, and I tossed it aside and then saw the two of you talking.
A scorpion bit you?
Or stung me, yes. She shows you
I
this,
was
like,
gonna say.
inflamed, kind of bulbous, kind of like...
That's gross.
Yes, it's quite painful, to be honest with you. But I watched you and Callan exchange words, and then, yes, the passionate kiss that the two of you exchanged.
I mean, what can I say?
Well, you haven't said much,
pretty
to be
dry.
honest. I mean, if you're that good of a kisser, kiss me.
Okay, well, we're not gonna get crazy. It's not, don't do that.
Well, then, please, tell me.
We have a history. It's very complicated.
That's,
Very
most histories out here are quite complicated. That's fair enough.
Indeed. Indeed. There's a lot going on.
Yes, there is a lot
Doesn't
going
help
on.
that she doesn't know much of it, and I do.
Well, needless to say, I think going back to Titanfall for you is definitely out of the question.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea.
Yes.
Though,
Traveling
you should
wi-
know.
Yes.
Definitely argued for it once we got chucked out of the thing. I was like, hey, they're probably looking for us, and we should probably go back because we have the thing that they want. And, you know,
The thing
I was
that
for it, they were not.
the thing that they want,
Uh-huh.
and what would that be? It's the first time you mentioned it to
Stuff.
me. So you did find something down there. Did you find the
Yeah.
vault?
The what?
The vault.
Yeah, describe it.
Well, I mean, I only know from the texts that they had us research and look at that they were using to try to figure out where it was located. They referred to it as Lord Arcanum's vault. And supposedly there was a particularly powerful relic hidden in that vault.
I don't know about that. But I got a dagger. She's my friend, so.
You hear a voice in your head. I don't think that's what she's asking about. I'm pretty sure She's asking about the stone inside Merrick.
I internally nod like, it's okay.
The spider's
It's
already
not- it's
creeping and
called
the
deception.
Philip is like on your shoulder creeping. Go ahead and give me deception with advantage because Philip is kind of lurking.
Intimidating?
Well, that and lurking on your shoulder.
Oh, thank God. 19.
She just looks back at you. Why do you continue to have that horrid creature with you?
His name is Philip. He's my friend. Stop calling him a horrid creature.
Well, when he bites you and kills you, you can call him whatever you like. And
No, he's not going to do that because he's my friend.
Well, she leans down, picks up a heavy skin sack, puts it on the back of her raptor. Anything else I can fill you in on?
What is our plan?
Do we have one? Should we form?
I was asking you.
Well, I mean, my mission was to guide Callan and the others up to the Central Highlands, where we'll meet up with the rest of her troops, and then to take you along the Bracken Wastes and to the border region of the Central Highlands and the Salt Wastes. There, we're supposed to meet up with Soot's forces and more potential recruits. I don't know what that means, as well as material and equipment to allow us the opportunity to either die grotesquely in Wyndham, die slowly on the way there. Don't know. Beyond that.
Is not dying an option?
In this world, not usually, no.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, we could usually do our
Not
best.
a good one.
We could usually slow it a bit, but the inevitability of this world crushing and destroying one's soul always seems to be the most logical outcome.
Well, I meant in the, immediate future. Not, in general. I know that everybody dies.
You watch
Some
as she
of us,
taps
multiple
like the swollen bite on her neck. Yes. Yes.
Do you want something for that? You could just ask.
Could you clear this up for me? It's quite painful. You can even see little tendrils of blood poisoning beginning to kind of form under the
That's
jawline.
horrific. How have you just had a whole
Expecting to make
conversation?
it. Totally knowing she's gonna
Pharaoh's
die
called,
6 hours
right?
later.
Wait.
Just resigned to the fact.
Remind me, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Soot is anti-slaver as well? Yes? Question mark?
From what you can recall with your discussions with Somni before he
Yeah.
was
I
destroyed.
kept a lot of that secret, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, to a certain degree, Soot reigns over the Colored Mountains in his portion of the kingdom. He has been prosecuting a war with Titanfall for the better part of 2 centuries, 2.5 centuries. The entire border between Titanfall and the greater Central Highlands are a series of forts and frontier-like war conditions. It's just been a war that's been going on forever. There's no distinct evidence that he's anti-slavery as much as he is anti-highborn. In particularly, he does seem to have a quite a venomous understanding of Brayburn, and lately the incursions by the Titanfall armies have been more robust and more brazen, causing Soot to worry that somehow maybe the Highborns have a new plan in the works. The season of the war usually is prosecuted during the season of dark, when it's coldest. Most of the time, armies do not move or make transgressions during the season of heat. So it is a little unusual that Soot has decided to prosecute this meeting during this less than auspicious time of the season.
So Pharaoh's going kind of rogue.
A little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit. And that's a free insight for you because Pharaoh's always been kind of keen on the idea of keeping an eye on the Avosti household
Yeah.
and keeping that contact in place.
Okay. Just making sure that I mean, like, she could totally be doing a double process thing that I don't know about yet.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
as far as I know, as of right now. Okay. Cool. And Pharaoh's tall, right?
yeah, she's a little over 6'2". She wears
Yeah.
obsidian plate mail. Although she's no longer dressed in her plate mail, she is dressed in her travel attire, which is reptilian leathers. She is incredibly fit, but there are distinct kind of scars, deformities. This is a person that's lived a very hard and secretive
She
life.
hot, though. Fine.
What's that?
She hot though. It's fine.
Yeah, she's HAUT for sure.
Awesome. I stand up on my tippy toes then and attempt to. I want to attempt a medicine check before I burn a spell slot to see if I can like squeeze the poison out.
You just watch as Dr. Pimple Popper goes, "You're doing a great job, Gray. Be sure to focus the tips of your fingers and the opening of the extrusion as you watch like 25 pounds of mucus and pump."
There's a reason that I do not watch those things.
Right? Gross as
That's a
fuck.
lie.
My favorite is when they pull. My favorite is when they pull the botfly larva out of people's arms.
Oh yeah.
There's like a hole.
I saw one last night where it popped on her head. It like squirted onto her head. She'd have a nurse cleaner.
Shannon even took off her headset. I love it. All right, no more pimple jokes. No more pimple jokes. We'll be good. We'll be good, Shannon. We promise. Fingers crossed. Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
That's a line. It's a line.
Go ahead and give me a medicine check. That was great.
Okay.
Get a hold of yourself. You're a death cleric.
Well, clearly the dice have recognized that I was thrown off. Medicine, ma'am. Please don't climb on top of my camera. 10.
10. It looks like a simple bite that's gotten infected through a kind of weird necrotic poison in the underlinement. You do enough decent work to kind of like clean it out, and you cut out, you find the little barb that was left behind, you pull that out, you drain it, and you watch as she is visibly relieved for the most part. You seem to have solved the problem without having to burn a spell slot.
Ta-da.
You hear a cough clearing of the throat behind you. Well, put a little bit of the wax cure on that. Gray and Pharaoh, we are all packed and ready to go whenever you are. You watch as Callan just quickly turns and goes back to a raptor and climbs on board and begins to motion for everybody to begin heading north.
Hey, Callan, you know what I didn't have? Scorpions attacking the back of my neck. You want to know why? Philip!
She doesn't even...
He's got my back.
She doesn't... And there's a... And you feel like this little globule of leftover carapace of a scorpion get hocked up onto your shoulder.
Thank you so much.
The multi-eyed Philip just goes...
Good boy.
It's got such a cute voice.
So this journey north, I need everybody to make perception checks, please, for starters.
Perception. I got a 24.
Okay.
30-20.
Okay. Medic.
It's coming out. It's 22.
Okay. As you all kind of like in this kind of like column formation, making your way through the wastes, the landscape begins to change finally during this first day of deep travel in the north. There's a lot more bracken and cactus that appears from time to time. Off to your right in the distance, you could see an entire herd of granite mastodons kind of making their way through a series of valleys. You can see as the herd kind of like comes to the surface area of the hillside and then coils down quickly. All of you watch as the column comes to an abrupt halt. Callan comes racing back to the rear portion of the column where the rest of you are. We'll hold up here for just a minute. We are checking for worm. Dotsk will be back shortly. A few minutes goes by, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Eventually, Dotsk returns. The all clear is given. The team continues through the hillside, and out of the hills, you finally find yourselves onto the deep northern wastes. And way off in the distance, you can see the bracken wastes and the central highlands beginning to take a visible form, almost like this weird kind of greenish and yellow miasma of cloud and dust way off in the distance. But yeah, so far no particular anything has come to bother anybody at this point.
As we approach danger, I will offer my skills as a scout.
Go ahead and give me a survival check as you're helping guide the column. Anybody else want to do anything for the day's journey to kind of help keep the column moving?
All right, I'll ride around the
Okay.
perimeter and use my perception to see if there's anything out there.
Give me a perception check.
That's gonna endanger us.
Gray, do they want to do anything to help out?
What is the surroundings like? Like what kind of environment are we in?
It's rather than when you were in the Raptor Highlands area, where it's like the kind of like the residual acidic pools from the acid rain that had kind of like come through that area and kind of reshaped all the dunes. These are a mix of granite hills and sand dunes all kind of colliding together. There's an increase in more flora here, like cactus, bracken, like bracken bone plants that are often referred to as like petrified plants. Every now and then you see the occasional scorpion or lizard. You even watch as large fire beetles kind of breach the sand and then descend underneath the sand quickly as the column passes by. Way off in the distance, you could see the herd of granite mastodons moving and shifting out. It's a barren wasteland, but it has a little bit more form to it. It's definitely different than the immediate area of Femur Valley and the Raptor Highlands. But now as you travel, it's beginning to be more dune-like, as there is a rather vast section of sand that you have to cover before reaching the Central Highlands and the Bracken Wastes.
Okay. How big is Philip at this point?
Philip is getting to the point now where, for the most part, he is walking alongside you most of the time. Yeah. He would be considered in between small and medium, like that, waiting to do that final growth spurt to medium. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a nature check, because you've been with Philip and you've made significant inquiries at this point in regards to his condition.
Nah.
No? Okay. Unsure of growth patterns and size? I mean, he could be large tomorrow or large in 6 months. You're not really sure.
I will ride kind of on the edge with Philip, not like outpacing him, and just kind of like keep our perimeter safe from little scorpions that might attack our raptors, etc.
Yeah, what skill do you want to use for this?
Maybe survival?
Sure, go for it. Sephora, what'd you get?
28.
Okay. And Merrick, you said you got an 8, right?
Yeah, in survival, but yeah, okay, survival. That's it. I'm trying to survivalist. Anyways, I'm more like a urban kind of guy. I was looking for perception, but
famous last words of the guy that falls into a hidden well or hidden worm tunnel and then disappears.
This is more like the kind of thing that I was trying to do, because if I fall, I can just float up. So actually, test dummy for sand. Trap sand is not a bad idea for my...
Yeah, I know, right? So, Gray, what they roll? 11. Wow, the dice have turned on you. The tail end of the travels is interesting. Merrick, at some point as you're scouting around, helping guide the column, you inadvertently disturb a nest of fire beetles. I need you to make a dex save, please.
Oh, that save is my bitch.
Mm-hmm. Is your beach or your bitch?
Oh, I'm its bitch. It's an 11.
Oh, 11. You take 31
Yeah.
points of fire damage as they immediately, you watch as their mandibles come together and there's a spark as the swarm just
You said
spews this massive gout of fire at you as you quickly pull yourself away from the swarm. Take 31 points of
That's-
fire.
31.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone, now you were warned. There is a swarm of
You
fire
actually
bees.
feel a very heavy hand on your shoulder pulling you back up on the top of the dune. And it's Rockham, and he looks, he goes, you should be careful with things like that. They'll kill you. And he kind of like sets you on your feet awkwardly because you're pretty light to him. And he's roughly almost 7.5 feet tall. And kind of, you watch as the rest of the column just stares at you, shaking their heads. Gray, as you're trying to keep tabs and keep everything safe, you kind of stumble across like a small rock pile. You watch as a very large scorpion tail comes out of this rock pile and goes to strike at you. Go ahead and give me a dex save.
Be back, baby. Dex save 21.
Yeah, as you feel the stinger strike you in the leg, you're able to pull away fast enough. You can see the venom dripping off the stinger, but it didn't manage to enter into you. So you only take 18 points of piercing damage, halved to 9.
No. I saw what those do this morning. I'm good.
Yeah, and you
Good.
just kind of peel away. You watch as the others see the nest of these large scorpions kind of surface. They look and their claws kind of click and clack, and then they just quickly kind of go down the dune and disappear into the sand line.
I sick Philip on one of them.
Okay. 5-10 minutes. Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes goes by, and eventually he catches up. There's like a part of a carapace hanging out of Philip's mandibles as he's just kind of trotting alongside you, hoping that at some point stopping and consuming the rest of the meal will be an option.
I will pause for a minute so we can get up on the raptor with me and enjoy his kill.
Gets up and you can hear him kind of curl up, and all you hear is crack, like the sound of a lobster being cracked open time and time again, and then you hear like a slurping liquefied as he's clearly enjoying his meal.
Good boy.
This journey travels on for the better part of the entirety of the day. It's a lot hotter now. It's roughly 110, 115 degrees throughout the day. There are enough water cylinders to keep everybody going. There's enough food currently. The taking of the sleigh was a pretty big deal. This has solved a lot of the food and water issues for the team. Not the highest of quality water, not the highest quality of food. The water seems to be converted, poisoned water that was magically converted into fresh water. The food seems to be very simple combination of meats and lichen and mushrooms and cactus fibers and cactus kind of like vegetation that's either been pickled or brined. But there's enough food or water to probably keep you guys going, all of you going, for at least the better part of 2 weeks. This first day's journey towards the Central Highlands ends. It's up to you if you guys want to just take a long rest, do anything before taking a long rest. We're kind of doing a journey situation here at this point. It's up to you.
First of all, being alive sucks. I'm not going to eat or drink. I'm gonna be a fucking ghost, and I try to heal up and have a long rest. Have a good exploration, guys.
Okay. Before anything you want to do?
Yeah, I want to take the scroll to Callan when we can read it.
Okay. Before we
Do the
resolve
soul
that,
stand thing.
Gray, is there
Sure.
anything they want to do for the evening?
Some mischief that I'll have to get with Dan with. I'll send Harrow a message.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. Because it's
We
almost
can
time for
probably
Harrow to
resolve
make
that.
a surprise visit at some point.
Excuse me? Hello.
Ooh.
I will be discussing that with Harrow in the coming weeks. Sephora, you managed to track down Callan just as night is beginning to show up. It takes longer now. The season's changing, and it's changing quickly. All around in the very peripheral of the miles off distance, you could see the famous sandstorms beginning to form up. From the direction you just came from, clearly an acid storm is forming out near the Femur Valley region, but you're far enough away to not have to worry too much about that. It gets dark, but it's still Vegas heat at night, 95 degrees at night,
Yeah.
forcing the consumption of more water.
Sucks.
Interestingly enough, the raptors merely live off the salt that's in the sand and manage to keep themselves going through that. Their body's able to convert the alkaline consistency of the salt into water and hydration, keeping them alive. You eventually make your way over to Callan's camp, where she is conferring with Rockham, sees you come over. Ah, yes, it's the message. I see it again.
Yes, and this time I scatter the sand on it.
The two of you kind of squat down in the sand and throw the sand on it, and the two of you watch as the lettering. You hear Rockham's voice go, "Well, that's fucking amazing. That's pretty powerful magic. I wasn't aware the Bloody Thumb had that capability. That's interesting." Yes,
So
what's
they're
even more
assassins?
interesting is that they want to speak with me and not to kill me. Perhaps they've chosen sides? I doubt it. They chose the sides of the rich all the time. Pay the contract fees, kill the target, make the money. Usually all they give a shit about. Do what you will. Watch as Rockham just kind of turns on his heels to go wander off to have a conversation with a couple of the others. Boy, he's been cranky lately. He doesn't really like it that much out here.
Well, if someone wants to be our ally, I don't think we should turn them away, but that's just how I think.
Yeah, the Bloody Thumb, though. Don't know. You can see that she's staring at the message. She squats down next to you, and two of you are kind of like conferring over the message. You're right. We could always use, we could always use the occasional, ally, as they say. But even when you think your allies are well known out here, you could easily find out something unexpected about them. You watch as she casts a glance over at Gray.
Why do you keep looking over at Gray?
Well, we shared a moment the other night.
Yes, and was it a good one or a bad one?
You're a difficult person to read, Zephyr. I can't tell whether you're being funny or not. You don't really have much experience with emotion, do you? I could kind of read that in your face.
Not much. My mistress tried to teach me. I know what emotions are. She's explained them to me, and I have a few. I really like killing dragonborn slavers.
Oh, well, that you'll find plenty of work where we're going, but...
And eating their hearts is stimulating.
Yeah, about that. Can I... Look, I'm all for vengeance and revenge, and, I get it. It's... You have to eat their hearts? Is that a thing? I mean, does it, actually help you, resolve your situation with them, or is that just for flavor? It's just what you enjoy doing.
I like raw meat creature. Very, very nourishing for me and very tasty.
What are
But
you?
it's also vengeance too.
What are you, by the way? Hopefully that's not too rude. I don't mean to be rude. I mean, you're definitely very different. You don't seem familiar to me in the least. At least I've never come across your
from
kind.
an ancient race, the Yanti.
Don't know that race.
We're descended from the Great Snake.
Interesting. Not familiar with that religion. Is it your own religion that you follow? Is there a history to it?
No, we're a race of snake people. Our more powerful ones are completely snake-like, and then
You mean they look like actual snakes?
Yes, some have arms, some are completely snake-like, the more powerful ones, and then those ones like me that are, I don't know, foot soldiers, as it were.
That is truly fascinating, to say the least. Would they be someone interested in our fight, perhaps?
Possibly, but I don't think I can go back to my people.
Why is that?
I have failed a mission, and I was captured and put upon to be a food taster, and things happened, and I escaped. But I don't think I could go back to my people in disgrace, so if having failed a mission, I'll probably be consumed or something like that.
They'll eat you.
Possibly.
How'd you find your way out here, Zephora? How'd you find your way with these interesting travelers?
Oh, well, the one you call Haro, do you know him?
No, I do not know him.
Oh. He's the one that turned into a bird. I sensed him when he came to... Oh, God, I gotta remember his name. Espis.
Oh, yes, the community that we used to be able to rely upon, but they seem to be having troubles. We saw their community and their sauropod greatly damaged by the Deathwing attack that they sustained.
Yes, well, anyway, it was during my mating season, and I had to find a mate or die trying, and Haro ended up being the most powerful one I could find, and I followed him. And
you kill your mates? She looks at you.
Sometimes if they're not powerful enough, but he's very powerful, so he was able to survive. So now I have an egg, and he has an egg, and hopefully with any luck they'll hatch, and continue propagating my race.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention to you that if you ever feel the need to go home, we could certainly use more allies. I mean, I'm trying to understand, if you were a food taster, were you a slave?
Yes, I was captured. I was supposed to complete a mission, and instead I was captured by slavers and sold. I can ingest and poisons, and they don't do me any harm, so I was able to taste the poisons for the family and warn them against eating them. And one day I decided I wasn't going to do that because the master was mean to me, and they had a very large gathering, a party, and I decided not to tell them, and I watched everyone writhe and cough up blood and bleed from their eyes and scream and writhe on the floor until they died,
Just give me
excreting their
give me
bowels through their
yeah.
anuses.
Just give me a straight intimidation check. I just want to see. I want to see if this has any impact on Kellen. Her drow
I
features
failed
kind
my
of look
save.
very kind of like concerned in this conversation.
A dirty 20.
Well, you're definitely not someone to trifle with. Do you still mind if I keep this message, or would you like it back?
It's about you. You can have it. I just was curious who those people were with the thumbs and
Well,
if they're
Not-
dangerous, if I should keep an eye out for them and kill them for you, or
well, they're dangerous.
Someone you
You
can
do not
trust.
necessarily need to kill them on sight. If you do see anybody bearing the tattoo, or sometimes they'll even have an emblazoned version of that tattoo on their face. The ones on the face are typically operatives that are usually scouting or attempting to make contact with people. The ones that bear tattoos underneath their arms can do either or. Sometimes they practice the art of assassination or the delivery of messages. Other than that, I don't know much else, to be honest with you.
all right. Well, apparently they're trying to contact you, or at least to find out what your intentions are.
Well, needless to say, that's a little bit disconcerting. I'm not really sure I'm prepared to have that conversation, but thank you for the message, and thank you for the interesting biography. She kind of
No,
gets up and kind of walks away from your creepy smile at her.
goodbye. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, of course. And she just kind of disappears back amongst the crowd. I was going to switch over to Shannon, but she disappeared on me, so I have to wait for her to get back. But eventually, everybody settles in for a long rest. So, Merrick, you can go ahead and click off for long rest, get your hit points back, and then we'll resolve whatever Shanigan is going to attempt. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. She's getting into some shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Zafara, do you carry the stone when I'm turned off in like standby mode?
Well,
Or,
isn't that what you wanted me to do?
Yeah. So can I have listened to this conversation?
No, because you're not on the same plane of existence whenever you're in the stone.
No, it's completely absent. Okay.
Yeah, you're in the...
So just go back to the assassin thing that you mentioned. You said that I didn't told you I was an assassin. Is that right? You thought
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember you
were
saying you're an
surprised.
assassin, but it's very intriguing.
Yes. It's because I'm really not proud of it. You see,
Why?
contrary to you, I don't enjoy killing.
Assassin is such a good skill. To be able to kill
is very
quickly and
convenient.
cleanly is just, it's a
You know-
special art.
you know- The hard part is not the killing. It's getting there. You know, like
well,
thick walls.
I've
are
also found
nothing
out
to
that can
me.
also be the cleanup.
Yeah,
I've had
like
to clean up a rather messy one.
tell me about it.
Two hobbits. Oh yes, well, one of my friends murdered two innocent hobbits or halflings or what you call them, and well,
Hobbits.
they were gutted and there was blood everywhere. It was rather spectacular, and they were nailed to the wall. Well, I had to clean that up so that we wouldn't be caught and tried and executed for murder. So that was very labor intensive.
I see your point. Getting out is also a very difficult part. But yes, the killing itself, you agree with me, it goes smoothly once you get there, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, but that's
Dragon-
it. It's so convenient. Sometimes it seems like you can lean on it and get advantage
See,
out of it.
you
And
should
it's
just
really,
embrace yourself and what you are. Well, you're an assassin. You should embrace that and become the best one you can.
yeah, I saw this world become what it is in part because of how insane it got. People killing each other. This is really something you should think about.
Well, I'm only killing the right people or things
Yeah, that's
like
what I told you.
slavers.
It's really convenient. It's really easy to lean onto it and just do it and get advantage.
I
Because
think you're in the
I don't know.
best time you could be in to be an assassin. There's so many people that need killing.
Yes, and yet I stumble into a swarm of bees and almost die forever.
Well,
So
I have
I'm
to
really
say
not.
that you don't really look like you belong out here in the wastes.
No, I
You
don't.
should probably keep close
Really
to the
don't.
group and don't wander off anywhere. There's a lot of dangerous things out here in the wastes. I'm sure you'd be
Okay.
more suited in a city where you can blend in with other people and ply your trade and
Hey, it was
have
such a
fun.
strange experience being in a city after so long. I hope it will pass, but I was feeling kind of awkward.
Well, I'm not planning on going back to Titanfall anytime soon. I'd probably be flayed alive or something, and I'm assuming I'm an escaped slave now. I don't know. I don't know if they're looking for me, but I mean, if I showed up on the doorstep, I'm assuming they would probably want to,
I
make me
think you
pay
agree
for
with me.
for all the rich little
You would
things that
agree with me
died on the floor.
that is actually a good reason to go back there. Like,
Well,
I'd love to kill
very
all
sneaky.
of those people. I'd love to kill all of those people. It's something
Well, eventually
I
I'd
have
like
to.
to, but not right now. I feel like I need to. I've already been captured once. That was a total failure on my part, and I don't believe I'm ready for it yet. I need to be seasoned.
I
So
see.
then when
Let's
I'm
start
ready,
small.
and I'm powerful, then I'll go back and slit so many throats that I'll be covered from head to toe in the blood of my enemies. And I will sup on their hearts, and it will be delicious.
Cool.
But until
I
then,
shall be by your side.
you must
Because
try a dragon
I
heart
think-
soon. Those dragon
I think I
hearts are
understand.
very, very tender. It's a hard getting into them. The skin's very, very, very
Oh no,
tough. But once you get into the insides, it's very juicy.
I quit eating. I quit eating the last time I had to go poop. It's not necessarily something I want to do again soon.
Everyone takes a shit.
Not me.
You're missing
Well,
out. Nothing feels so
I'll
good as a
teach you-
big shit after you've eaten.
I'll teach you emotions. You teach me how to be alive.
All
Okay.
right, that sounds good.
I'm trying to
I'll try some
imagine this
hard.
fireside conversation, right, going on, and with like all the other survivors and people nearby just kind of eating their food and semi listening in to all this murder and death talk going on.
Yeah,
What
I
have I
see why the
missed?
conduit chose you.
Well, I was just basically telling him that he should embrace his assassin role here because there's so many people in this world that need killing. That
Why are there so many people? Where are we? What happened?
Nothing. There's just, in general, there's a lot of people a lot of things that need killing.
Oh, okay. Well, you see how there's a tail spire thing now, and I was like, did we get into combat? I left for 5 minutes.
No, you're good. We were just continuing a conversation until you got back.
Okay.
Your turn.
Cool. I'll shut up now.
No, your turn.
Oh, it's my turn to do things.
Yeah, we were filling time
Yeah.
till you got back.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I've probably amassed a fair amount of bones from my boy, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Plus your normal collection whenever you see them.
I'm gonna try to make some spider armor with the bones in case my spider armor doesn't make it.
Fair enough. Yeah, because it's only been a day since you've left Femur Valley, so it could take the period of time to craft it and the eventual delivery of it. Callan did leave a couple messengers behind to kind of deal with that.
I mean, I was thinking more along the lines of in case I got murdered, but yeah.
Yeah, there's that too. Murder, death, kill.
Firebugs,
Murder, death, kill.
Yeah. Spicy.
Well, give me a sleight of hand skill check really quick for starters. I just want to start a condition of just how well you can handle. See, these dice are on fire. You assemble a good amount of bone and sinew and leather, raptor leather strapping, and you've got a good collection of material. You even have Dara sees you working on this and awkwardly drops some carapace down there, and she drops one of the larger beetle carapaces, the sand beetles that she was harvesting at one point and had saved some of those bits and bobs, and she drops you 2 large beetle carapaces, and looking at those you begin to kind of form an idea in your head. Give me an intelligence check.
Can I help? Can I just assist her in that so she could roll better?
I'll say you kind of are bored with your murder, death, kill conversation with Merrick and make your way over. You see Gray working. They're like working feverishly on some kind of device.
Natural 20.
Can you ship those dice out to me? That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, I've gotten a bunch of 18s with a +2.
Yeah.
Like dirty 20s.
Yeah. Now give me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now give me a wisdom check with advantage.
Okay, let's go, baby. Now it's gonna be like a 4.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Of course. That's how it always works.
Natural 20. 23.
Were you given weighted dice?
No.
That was absurd.
They were special dice that got made. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
Limited edition.
Limited.
We're not sponsored, but Wormwood. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Wormwood dice, baby.
You spend a solid evening with Sephora's help making some bone and beetle carapace armor. I mean, and you even make it so that when it's ready to be expanded on, you can make it a little bit bigger for Philip, because this is mastercraft work. This is sitting around and spending hours into the wee hours of the night with Sephora, and the two of you just craft this amazing chitin armor for Philip. And yeah, I mean, not only does he wear it, it straps on quite easily, and the sections of his missing legs, you kind of fashion armor to extend off those missing legs, and you kind of like wrap it and tighten it to a point where now it's almost as if his legs are like a little bit more normalized, and he's a little bit faster, a little bit more adept at moving about, and he spends the entire evening perusing the campsite and taking care of like the smaller scorpions and venomous lizards and the little shale asps that come in and out of the crevices. It's a good night of productive work for the two of you.
Sephora, forget all of the people that I've raised from the dead. Forget them. This is my magnum opus.
And I'll say the next, and I'll say your tinkering skill is elevated. Whenever you manage to work on Phillips armor or anything that's considered small tinkering, you can do it with a +1 to your roll.
I am a battlesmith.
Well, you're on your
Fight
way to potentially becoming a battlesmith.
I specialize in spider armor and spider armor only, but only when the spider only has like 6 out of his 8 legs. It's fine.
Let's see, there's only one person that has a spider, so it's a very limited.
It's very much.
Clientele.
It's very limited, but I'm very good at it.
You
Very
just
much.
catch spiders and armor them and then release them.
Very much
Oh
a
my
niche
God.
craft.
Yes.
You watch it.
Who's making these?
Sephora that Gray's like they're so into it. You watch as they kind of grab a little a sand tarantula, pick it up, and begin to use leftover parts to make it armor. And you watch as this little tarantula wearing armor just kind of skitters off into the distance.
Robert, no.
Somebody's going to be very
my
surprised
God.
when they try to kill that one.
I know. Oh my God. It's like a little game of hide and seek. that
Eventually, the
everybody else
two of
can
you hear a
enjoy.
voice from behind you. What are you two doing?
We're making spider armor.
And,
Who's that?
and it's Dara looking down at the two of you. Why, Gray? And Sephora,
Why
why do you
not?
continue? Sephora, why do you continue to encourage her?
Well,
Dara, you're
I've
the
been
one that
having
helped
all
me
kinds
make
of-
spider chocolates.
exciting things. I made spider armor. I think that's impressive.
Well, anything Gray does is impressive. I mean, I even heard rumor that she's a good kisser.
What?
Ooh.
Did you see that, Sephora?
Ugh.
Did you hear that?
Did I hear about it?
Yeah, I heard Gray kissed Kellen.
Oh.
Rockham seems
Wait a
very
minute.
upset. He pulled me off to the side and we had a conversation about it.
She asked. She asked me to. Because we're trying to figure out this whole memory
Oh,
situation.
wait a minute.
She asked me.
Dara likes you,
Good job.
but you like Kellen.
Yes.
So what she just said was, like a bad comment, right?
Yes.
Because her
Dar-
feelings have been hurt.
Yeah, Dar leans into your face, Sephora, and you can just feel the anger kind of coming off of Dar in waves. You know what, Sephora? Sometimes you should learn to mind your own shit. And you watch as Dar pulls
and the
away and
name of
looks at Gray and just kind of walks off into the crowd of people near one of the campfires.
Sephora,
Wait a
there's
minute.
this thing that you
Wait.
should learn.
You're
look at my
mad at
face.
me.
It
Is
no,
she mad
you,
at me?
You should be.
She's mad at you.
It's cringe. The name of this
Ah.
is cringe. That's what we should be feeling right now.
It's
That's-
a concept that you should learn. Ready? Subtlety. I don't know how to do it, but somebody does.
Why?
Merrick, you're like in a stone most of the time, huh?
Well, why should someone be subtle? I don't.
Okay, tact. I don't know how to do that one either, but you should.
I just say things plainly. I don't.
I know, but sometimes when you say things plainly, it makes people's feelings be hurt.
Well, I understand. Well, I don't understand, but I'm trying to understand emotions, and I saw some emotions, so I wanted to comment on it to see if I was right. And guess
Okay.
what? I was right.
They go
And-
here in your brain and not here. You know?
Well, yes, but how am I supposed to learn about emotions if I don't ask about them?
Well, you could have asked me about that like
So,
not face.
I shouldn't even have any emotions because people that have emotions don't talk about the emotions they have. So why would anybody know they have emotions?
Nope. Stop.
Yeah, like it's
Full
when you
stop.
go to have
Stop.
to poop, or it's very similar to poop.
It had
You
no.
do
It had no.
in
It's
private.
nothing like pooping. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, it's kind of you go somewhere with someone in private and you ask about their feelings in private. It's a very
Okay, I
touchy
guess it's kind of like pooping.
thing.
I
You
don't
know?
like that part about emotions. Everyone's They're messy. I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Mr. Greenbottle was trying to tell me about them and get me to like understand them and have them even, but look at all that's been going on lately,
Women
and I
are-
just see the things that are happening between a few of you people, and I don't want to have anything to do with emotions.
To be fair, the situation we're in is very, very complicated. I'm sure if you're talking to a man and you walked up to him and you're like, "Hey, I like your face," they would probably be more chill about it. Don't take my word for it. I don't know how men work.
Mhm. I do hope this will not distract you from the fight that is to come. It's all I have to say about this
Turn your confusion into
youngish
violence.
dispute.
That is a shirt.
Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, let me write this
Oh
one
my
down.
god!
Turn your confusion into violence.
Yes.
I will wear this shirt.
Good point.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
And then I'll just have an armored spider on the shirt.
Yes!
Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
No, I got it. It's you and Gray near a fire pit. An armored Philip is going off into the distance, and then you're
Killing
fashioning
things.
armor to a little tiny tarantula, and then put that up there. Turn your confusion into violence.
Into violence. God, you come up with some good one-liners.
She does. She
One-liners
does.
are my only thing, baby. You one-trick pony.
All right, well, I'll shut up about it, but I need someone to talk to about it.
I think that would be hiring a therapist.
What?
Don't worry about it.
All right.
I'm always here if you want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. The assassin. He should
Yeah, like
know all about emotions.
I have like a few threads that keep me existent, and that's all I have, So yeah, I know a little bit of emotions, more than you would think.
Oh, all right. Are they worth having?
Not at all.
See, I knew it.
Lies. Lies.
I knew it.
I was married once. Emotions are good. They make you feel things, and it's nice.
Yes. Do you like feeling pain?
Yeah, because without
So,
pain, there's no happiness. That's how it works.
That's my point. Exactly. That's kind of my point. And there are some things that come with feelings that are really good. But if you don't have them, you can live a perfectly healthy life.
If you
You know?
just exist in a void of
that's
no
exactly what I needed to
emotions your
hear,
entire
Merrick. Thank
life,
you.
Is life even worth living at that point?
Well, he has to understand what he is and accept it. If he doesn't have emotions, it will be really hard for him to try to do it if he can't.
No,
It's really
you don't.
he will always feel
No.
amputated.
You don't get to just say that you are what you are and that's all you'll ever be. You can be more than that. People can learn. Look at Philip.
Yeah, okay.
He died.
Okay.
Put it back together. Now he's an armored
learn
warrior.
stealing?
He watches a
Even
heavily
though it
armored,
will
like
hurt?
small, medium spider goes chasing after an asp, grabs it, starts
Maybe-
digesting the
Maybe
snake.
that's it. Do you want to have feelings even though they will hurt and they will be confusing, and etc.? And like, you have to get the whole package. You don't get only the good things of feeling. You get the bad side of it also.
But you also get the good.
So
Like
yes,
Dara
it's
has
a
right
choice.
now.
It's called
Yes,
jealousy. And
exactly.
she'll get over
So-
it because I'm not worth being jealous over.
Well, that's not
So
what
the
she
first
thinks,
thing-
apparently.
No, it's called self-deprecation.
It looks like she likes you a lot.
Oh, well.
Well, I don't know anything about emotions, but I know now because I saw what she did right now, and then she's very mad at me.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Would you like her? Go on.
the feelings that she's feeling now they're going to be temporary. Like, I thought that Callan was dead. I did not think that this was going to come up ever. I didn't know who she was for a very long time. And then not only did I learn who she was, but she was in front of me and not dead. And that's not something that I can just turn away from. If you had somebody that you loved very much that you thought was gone, and then you find they're out that they're there, and not only are they there, they're alive and relatively healthy and in front of you, you're not just going to say, nah, I'm good.
But
Like,
they don't remember you.
well, that's not entirely true.
Yes,
There's magics to fix
like,
that.
great. You should remember you're talking to someone who doesn't have feelings, so you have to explain everything.
I'm talking
I
to
think
somebody
what
who's
Gray-
learned to feel. Not somebody who doesn't have feelings. Zephora has feelings. She just doesn't understand.
It's usually murderous
expressed
glee.
myself. I expressed
That
myself poorly. You're right.
That I totally understand as an emotion.
So, do you understand what Grayson is describing?
No.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, let's try to make some kind of analogy. Grayson, would you like to try?
No. It's all right. Don't try to explain it. It makes my head hurt.
You're not going to learn if you don't explain it, and you want to learn, right?
I don't know if I want to learn because it seems like it's not good and messy and
Okay. Well, I have a perfect metaphor. Not perfect, because I'm not perfect. Regardless, I have a metaphor for you. Do you think that walking in there and rescuing all of those slaves, liberating them, do you think that's going to be easy and not complicated?
oh, I don't really care about that because I'm just going to kill as many things as I can kill until I'm killed.
Yeah, don't you think that's going to be a little messy?
Oh, I hope so.
Go.
Some bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What
See,
if those people have
I feel like if
okay.
I really do horrible things to their bodies, that when their friends come to find them, that their friends are horrified and they feel those bad emotions because they
Exactly.
see their friends torn apart and their hearts eaten out of their bodies. And then I will instill fear,
Okay.
which
and what
is an
will you
emotion
feel
that
in that
I
moment?
like to give people.
What will
so-
you feel in that moment, though, Sephora?
What? Oh, it's like mating, only better,
It's
because I can do it more than once every 7 years.
well, that's horrible.
I can do it
Secondly,
anytime I feel like it, and it's wonderful.
That explains so much. Like in the before times, there was this guy called Freud. I think he would love you.
What?
Nothing. Forget about it.
Oh, wait, was that a joke?
You feel joy. You feel confusion now, but then you get to have joy. And then maybe you feel something else that is confusing or bad, and then you get to feel joy. It's a roller coaster as opposed to a flat line of void and nothingness.
Well, just like combat, well, I get hit with something and it hurts. But then I get to hit something with something that I have and it hurts them. It makes me feel good.
That
Back and forth, baby.
is kind of a good analogy, but I think if you do that,
Good friend.
one of you will end up dead, and that is not the goal of having feelings or relationships. It's the opposite.
All right, enough of this. I'm becoming more confused now.
All right.
We'll talk
Sure.
about it later.
Yes, but we will talk about it.
to watch your back with Dara.
Oh yeah, no, she's probably gonna slit my throat in my sleep.
You guys kind of all
Let's
go off
beat
into
you up.
your separate directions at this point to take your long
Yep.
rest. And everybody be sure to click off your long rest in case you want to change spells and do whatever. And that's where we're going to finish tonight so that when Alyssa gets back next Friday, we'll see how all of these fun emotions and fun feelings may potentially play out as we're beginning to shift out of the deep southern wastes and into the central highlands and the bracken waste borders of the central region of Arafan in the hopes of finding Kellen's forces, the eventual ability to link up with Soot's forces out in the Valley of Bone, and see where that takes us, as the rebel cause seems to be the focus point for right now. That and the discovery of emotions, making out with Callan, Dara wanting to make out with Gray, Rockham clearly upset about the making out with Gray, but you know, it's all good.
I didn't think everybody was just staring at us, okay?
Well, you didn't really say you were either one of you were gonna like try to be deceptive about it. So, I mean, Callan's the leader of the.
Night, and you described her entire camp as sleeping.
I described that she had walked.
That's a you problem, Jason.
I described that she walked from her encampment, and you could see people that were sleeping about the, you know, around and about. But
You gave me an impression that was wrong, Jason. Your fault. Bad deal.
Bad Baldric. Bad Baldric.
Bad.
I love it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Friday night, Age of
Right.
Arcanum. We will be back here next Friday. Alyssa will be back from Vegas. Hopefully it will be
Yay.
sober Alyssa,
Hungover.
because drunk Alyssa is pretty funny as well. Other than that, don't forget to visit our Discord, where you can win some dice or a dice bag as well as miniatures. We're also doing a core rulebook giveaway for a unique RPG that I haven't tried yet, and I'm still reading. It looks pretty cool. I think it's called Paleolithic. It's a indigenous and Stone Age themed fantasy. It looks pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Other than that, don't forget Uncanny Prose,
Tuesdays.
Dibli,
Ombligo del Diablo.
El, one more time?
Ombligo.
Ombligo del Diablo.
Jason, we've only been doing this for like a year and a half.
I know, it's it's kind of like white wine vinegar. It's just one of those,
It's a tongue twister.
yeah, it's a tongue twister for
Well, it
me.
means the devil's belly button, so.
Oh, can't we just call it the devil's belly button? Because that actually
No.
sounds really fucking cool.
No,
But-
because we have everything. Every
I
season
know.
since then has been like ODD
Yeah.
something or another. So
Yeah, fair enough. In the descriptors, they say. But hey, join us here Sunday night, Debtor's Gambit, where you get to watch Shannon yet again.
Even a very different person.
Yeah, oh, very different. Medi is lots of fun. Not nearly as casual about things as Gray is, but Medi's fucking fun as shit. And Medi's even been introduced to their arc a little bit when they saw the Lich. And
just
the
a
other
little
mysterious
bit.
creature talking to the Lich, yeah. As we're still, on the Island of the Rebels, trying to get off the fucking Island of the Rebels. But hey,
We're working on it.
join us here Sunday night, 6 to 9 o'clock for Age of Arcanum. Monday night, 7 to 10 for Faerun Reborn. Tuesday night, Denizens and Their Masters. Wednesday night, The Descendants. And Thursday night, One Shot. And then Friday night, Age of Arcanum. I will pop up on occasion to do build and chill sessions and chat about all the fun things that is TTRPG. So, as I always say, be kind, be safe, play a game. Teach, learn, and play. Join our Discord. Come have some fun. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Or Sunday, because, you know, they all run together. They all end in the word Y, but, you know, it's